So it's the 1960s, 70s or 80s, and it's nearly Christmas. Where do you go for your presents, tinsel, wrappings and trappings, and a cheeky bag of pick and mix while you're at it? Where else but good old Woolies? Hello and Merry Christmas, I'm Retrospective UK and welcome to this retrospective look back at a shop that served us all faithfully for many years with a wide variety of toys, games, records and household goods, and let's not forget the pick and mix. And it was a particularly magical one-stop shop at Christmas time, where you could buy gifts for everyone you knew and all kinds of Christmas paraphernalia. And what about those adverts? The Woolworths Christmas TV adverts were often spectacular, often filling an entire 2-minute ad break. For many of us, it wasn't really Christmas until the Woolies ad had hit the telly. In this Christmas retrospective video, we'll be taking a look at Woolworths history, its rise to glory, sharing our collective memories, watching some classic adverts, and considering why our beloved Woolies failed so spectacularly in 2009, leaving the high streets of Great Britain with a massive Woolworths-shaped hole that's never really been filled since. So let's take a trip down the high streets of our distant memories and celebrate what Woolworths at Christmas time meant to us. The British Woolworths as we knew it began in 1909 as F.W. Woolworth & Co Limited, founded in Liverpool by American Frank Woolworth, who originally started the company in the United States. By 1914, at the start of the First World War, there were 40 stores located around Britain and Ireland, and at its peak in the 1960s, store numbers had reached a whopping 1,141. The 1960s, 70s and 80s were the golden years for the Woolworths Group in the UK. These were the decades that most of us remember growing up in, with Woolworths as a standard fixture in our high streets that we both loved and took for granted in equal measure. But the writing was on the wall as the 1990s approached. The rise of online shopping in the mid-90s, a decline in the sales of physical music formats in the early 2000s, the expansion of product ranges in major supermarkets, and the success of one of Woolies' biggest competitors, Wilkinson, all contributed to a decline in sales across the board. In September 2008, Woolworths announced losses of almost £100 million, and after a number of desperate cost-cutting exercises, they finally entered administration with debts of over £300 million. And the 807 Woolworths shops across the UK that still remained, they were all closed by January in 2009. Around 27,000 jobs were lost, and we all lost one of our most cherished British shopping institutions. Now, in 2023, the Woolworths name does still exist in some form, with shops still trading in Australia and South Africa. However, these businesses are not directly related to our old high street Woolies. Both companies have been trading since the 1920s and were able to borrow the name from F.W. Woolworth & Co. simply because it was not registered in those countries. A bit cheeky, but it is nice to know that there are still physical shops carrying the Woolworths name all these years later. There was also a Woolworths online retail website launched in 2009 after the Shop Direct group bought the rights to the Woolworths name. They sold similar goods to the ones sold in Woolworths shops in an attempt to capitalise on the brand recognition, and they managed to stay in business until 2017. The Shop Direct group has since been rebranded to the Very Group, which is still trading today in 2023. Like a lot of you out there, I remember the Woolies shop in my town growing up as the go-to place for music, toys, computer games and of course, the best pick and mix. Our family also picked up a few major household purchases from there as well over the years, the most notable being an awesome hi-fi unit with fold-out speakers. This served as our main living room hi-fi for many years, and most of the 7-inch singles I bought from Woolworths were played on that thing. Woolworths was just always there, and I never thought for a moment that it would ever be gone, but gone it was, and it's been sorely missed ever since. Maybe not necessarily for the range of products it sold, but most probably because it was there as an old faithful from my birth to the age of 35 when it finally closed down in 2009. I remember its final day of trading, walking around looking at empty shelves, picked clean by what felt like vultures pecking at the bones of a dead carcass trying to get the last pieces of meat from between its lifeless ribs, and being even more shocked by the fact that the only things left for sale were the fixtures and fittings, shelving units and attachments and brackets all bundled up ready for sale in a last-ditch attempt to make one final bit of profit. Sad memories aside, I'll always have those memories of exciting Christmas shopping trips for presents, tinsel, decorations and wrapping paper. And of course we can always look back at the many vintage Woolworths Christmas adverts out there on YouTube and think fondly of what our Woolies meant to us, particularly at Christmas time. There is one final memory I'd like to share, and that was the occasion when, as a toddler, being dragged by my mum down the escalators after having a bite to eat in the Woolworths in-store cafe, I saw this exciting looking big red button. And what are buttons for? Well, pressing of course, so I did. It made sense to my toddler brain, but unfortunately my mum was mortified as the escalator immediately stopped, a safety alarm blared out and a security guard came running to see what had happened. He took it in good humour, thankfully, but that's a memory I've never forgotten, even now as a nearly 50-year-old. Good times. I reached out in the community section of my other YouTube channel for your memories of Woolworths, and it seems a lot of you feel really strongly about the shop and the impact it had on you growing up. So here's what you lot had to say. Sabertooth Barnacle remembers being present at the Great Malvern Christmas light switch on in the 80s, and everyone heading en masse to Woolworths afterwards to grab their Christmas supplies, being weirded out by seeing their school teachers out shopping, and grabbing fish and chips afterwards on the way home. TH8257, at the age of 5, recalls hearing the words shopping spree in a Christmas Woolies advert and thinking it was saying shopping's free, then not understanding why their parents had to pay when they were shopping at Woolworths. Mr. Positronia used to enjoy browsing in Woolies and admiring all the records, toys and computer games, but remembers feeling frustrated because his mum wouldn't buy anything for him. Mr. Dirkles thinks his wife played a key role in Woolies' downfall by packing as many sweets as possible into the pick and mix tubs. Bobby's Crisps thinks that Christmas has never been the same since Woolworths closed down. El Ritmo recalls the local Woolies expanding into a newly built shopping centre, but missing the grand opening due to having a broken leg and being housebound. The first visit after healing up, however, was magical, particularly the music tapes and pick and mix, but the memory is tinged with that sense of loss that we all seem to have, as Woolies was something that was always there until it wasn't. Bretsky777 had a Woolworths in Beverley, East Yorkshire, which was the first place to go for Christmas presents back then. The staff would always put effort into nicely decorating the shop, and the distinctive smell of new vinyl records and pick and mix was unforgettable. Ollie Baldwin remembers Woolworths being the go-to place for pick and mix. Fishponds lady Amy Quinn bought her first ever album, Black Sabbath's Paranoid, from the King's Heath Woolworth at age 12. Middlesbrough Mike remembers the Woolworths standalone music store in his town, which only sold cassettes, vinyl and CDs, and getting Christmas gift vouchers for the shop, spending hours flicking through the records, some of which he still owns today. Stacey Draper, amazingly, remembers being pushed around Woolworths in a pram, and always loved the pick and mix right up to her 21st birthday when they closed for good. Sad face emoji. She also correctly reminds us that it wasn't Christmas until the Woolies TV advert had launched. Liam Greer and his entire little market town sorely misses their Woolworths, and he regrets never truly appreciating it until it was gone. Thomas Cook also correctly points out that Christmas wasn't Christmas until the Woolies ad appeared, and that the closest thing we have now are the John Lewis ads. Kirsty Jones loved her Woolworths in Leicester, which had a walk-through grotto, and had her picture taken there with Santa Claus for many years. Kongshow6229 looked forward to the Woolies Christmas ads with so many famous faces and laments the loss of Woolworths, blaming it on rising competition from the internet. Gee Whiz George Wharton reminds us of all the good stuff. Pick a mix, compilation LPs with a dolly bird on the cover, blank cassettes galore, $5.99 cinema club videos, and a heap of other items that bring the memories flooding back. Pumps boy Richard James Weston wanted me to mention the black slip-on PE pumps he used to buy at Woolworths. Samantha Dias-Wyard can't understand why these shops are not still in business and wants to be taken back. And finally, Jim Brown thinks it's sad how far away we are from the happy-go-lucky bunch we used to be, and how the light-hearted Woolies adverts remind us of that. I'd love to hear about your thoughts on the subject, so go ahead and post them in the comments. And if you'd like to be featured in a future Retrospectives video, follow me on my various social media platforms where I'll be asking for comments whenever I'm working on a new video. I also now have a Buy Me a Coffee tip jar if you'd like to say thanks with a small gesture. All the links are in the description. We'll finish off now with a selection of particularly nostalgic Woolies Christmas adverts, but before we do, I'd like to thank everyone who contributed their comments, to thank you for liking and subscribing, and of course to thank you all for watching Retrospectives.
There's a time for giving, yes, a time for buying presents, though it's hard to find enough time to spare. But there's 1,000 answers here at Woolworths, 1,000 ways to say you care.
EMI recording tapes, per packs, cases for cassette or discs. New Blitz prices make them super value. Pick quick superstars you mustn't miss. Computer perfection, electronic playmate, value for the family. Simon's the name for a great computer game. Christmas brings the Beatles back on MFP.
There's a time for giving,
Home back.
yes, a time for buying presents, though it's hard to find enough time to spare.
Ideas in clothes for everyone.
But there's 1,000 answers here at
Electric
Woolworths.
value you can count on, with names like Philips and Clairol too. A fast hair dryer, and here's another flyer, a shaver for the fella who means most to you. Polaroid 1000 with a Christmas bonus, bikes for any member of your family. Benetton Royal Alarm Clock Radio, Envoy watches for you to see. Christmas paper, cards and wrappings, Woolworths vouchers, hey, hey, hey. Christmas trees and lights and trappings, gonna be a starry Christmas day.
There's 1,000 answers here at Woolworths, 1,000 ways to say you care.
Got an electric organ for some musical guys. Got a Polaroid that develops right before your very eyes. Got some boxes and some boxes for my cousin PC nights. And a matchbox power track with real headlights. Got a Busby watch for a Busby fan. Got a Streamline Music Center by a man called Ferguson. Got some Pickwick records for a musical jolly. And some Chevron cassettes for very little lolly. Something for everybody.
The choice you want, at the price that you want to pay. That's the value of your Woolworths store.
From now till Christmas Day.
Have a cracking Christmas at Woolworths, the cracker of a Christmas shopping spree. Woolworths prices, many of them crack down Christmas. Woolworths is the place to be. Have a cracking Christmas at Woolworths, the cracker of a Christmas shopping spree. Crack down prices, is it any wonder? Woolworths is the place to be.
Tracking down to Woolworths for a present for every member of the family.
Girlfriends, boyfriends, cracker jacks and cracker jills, aunties, uncles, mums. Have a cracking Christmas at Woolworths, the cracker of a Christmas shopping spree.
The latest, greatest, ever more spectacular Woolworths Christmas Show. EMI, Super Chrome, tapes that come in threes. Telltale, tape and book, helps a child to read. 5-pack Sony tapes, the price is sure to please. Here, this brawn is independent, it'll style your hair with ease. Stupendous and amazing value in toys, I'll tell you. Fisher Price, here, that looks nice. The baby-proof safe game. The Speak and Spell, that is correct, makes other toys look tame. And once they played with Vectrex, they'll never be the same. It's the latest, greatest, ever more spectacular Woolworths Christmas Show. And ladies knitwear, look at them styles, lady. Look at the colours. And all these for only $5.99 each. Stupendous value. Hooray! Eric Bristow Dark Game. Here, fancy meeting you. Video and TV units, self-assembly too. Remington's great popcorn maker. Steady on there, lad. A colour set, remote control. Here.
That can't be bad.
Big value quality sweet in a jar. Hurrah! Hurrah! Home computer. Here's the Commodore. A gift set pack from Brute. What man could ask for more? 1,000 lovely things to choose from. Bargains galore. And the latest, greatest, ever more spectacular Woolworths Christmas Show.
Where you gonna spend this Christmas? Who you got in mind this year? Christmas is a gift at Woolworths. Christmas starts right here. All the gifts you know they love, gifts that show you care, gifts to sing and sounds to please. It's Woolworths first for melodies. Christmas is a gift at Woolworths, gifts that bring good cheer.
Come on, you two.
Here, Chris.
With so many great value offers at Woolworths this Christmas, you may forget what you went in for.
Baubles.